Going live. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Joleen.
Man. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I look like I've never done this before. Hey guys, we're going to talk about Big Brother Australia today. If we can get our act together. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up just because you feel bad for me and I can't press buttons and make videos play. And welcome, Joleen.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. It's Thursday. It's one of my favorite days because we get to talk about Big Brother Australia. I love it.
Thursdays with Joleen. I get to make a little song like that to equal your little ditty. Your big brother right now with Joleen. We need a little ditty. Hi, welcome. Happy Thursday. We had 3 amazing episodes of Big Brother Australia this week. We started with Angie. We thought being voted out, but she was put into a BB bunker, and we had questions. What does that mean? Does she really get to watch? She's gonna come back? And pretty quickly, those questions get answered in episode 7, where we're gonna start with our recap. She gets to see a lot.
It's almost like. I thought they were going to use her a little more just to mess with the game. I didn't know she was going to get to go back into the game. And you're right. She does get to see a lot. And she gets to see Garth talking crap about her, which she thought, I think Garth was Team Angie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Garth is running his mouth.
He did. He ran his mouth. And she heard some things and she finds out she gets to return. So she gets to play part of this house task where Big Brother's telling everyone that they have to say yes to whatever task is thrown whoever's way. And it seems like Angie gets to be a part of it, where she, edit-wise is saying, yeah, choose Dan, make Matt go back in again for more spray tan. It seems like she's a part of it. I don't know how much of that is real.
Yeah.
But it was really funny to watch Garth be a butler. And
it was
stand there on alert.
And the fact that she was like, let's have him not talk as much either. Because he was trying to make it fun. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
You don't get to have fun. You've been talking about me behind my back.
Yeah. Is your shirt Stubbs Barbecue like in Austin?
Yeah, Chell went there years ago for a comedy festival and brought it back for me.
Yay! We love Stubbs We love Austin, and we try all their barbecue. Even though I can't eat meat, I just eat their barbecue sauce. So I just got really excited about your shirt.
I've never been to Austin. That's like one of the few cities I've never been to, and because I've been to many other cities in Texas. But yeah. So Chell brought this back for me, and it is like one of my favorite. I literally got it probably 8-9 years ago, and I love it. It's one of my favorite shirts.
Right. It's adorable, and the color looks so good with your wig. Anyway,
thank you.
I'm just blinded by your beauty, and I had to pause for a second to talk about that.
Thank you.
So this was a silly task, but they all do it. Matt spray tan probably was the funniest, I think.
I love that they're doing this. I think this is so much more fun than what we see in the US, where it's just like, let's go in another onesie. It's just like the onesie season. Like I know I've said this before, I'm so over onesies. So I like that they're, they did this a lot in BBUK where people would have to like serve other house guests and stuff like that, or tasks such as that, instead of just being in a onesie or just making eggs and wasting food. It's actually tasks that are either funny or help other house guests. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime we can mess with these house guests and humiliate them, make them miserable, I am so on board. Yeah, we got one cow suit for Marissa. But that was it. Everything else. And Ian had to speak in song, and I was like, welcome to my world, Ian.
I know. That would actually be really fun.
I'm walking down the hall. Yeah, so easy. I love it. Okay, so they do it. Great. They win a KFC feast. Wait, that was my question to you, Joleen. How excited would you be for a KFC feast?
You couldn't make me eat a KFC feast. After I became like an official adult, like over 30, and found out what's in KFC, you couldn't, but I have eaten McDonald's still in my adulthood, knowing what's in McDonald's. But KFC, you couldn't make me eat KFC. I'd be like, no thanks, rations, good.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, no, maybe I'll eat the coleslaw, maybe, but that's about all I'll eat from KFC. Although I used to, in my 20s, they had those bowls with mashed potatoes at the bottom and then just like everything on top, which is like depressing. But I used to eat those for sure. But yeah, now I'd be like, no, thank you, pass on that. But they were so excited to eat KFC, and they did it. We see a little bit about people still annoyed with Kieran. Casey needs him to learn some life skills. Zoe is really just like laying it on thick. Like she's going to be straight upset if Kieran doesn't go is kind of the sound bites we're getting from her. People are just not enjoying living with him. But let's go to our nomination challenge where they have to work in pairs for this one. Stacking cylinders on a shelf that they're sort of controlling with rope. And they're on Velcro, right? They're walking in Velcro shoes on a Velcro-y thing.
Yeah, these challenges in these last 3 episodes, there was a lot of stacking, a lot of balance. Neither things I'm good at.
No.
I was like,
not working for you?
No, not at all. This challenge, it didn't hold my attention. The other 2 challenges coming up in the next episodes did. This challenge didn't really hold my attention, probably because who won, Zoe, didn't really hold my attention in that. But what did you think of it?
Well, I thought it was interesting that because they have to pair up, and Matt paired up with Kieran. And so I was like, ooh, is this strategy? Because Matt's with that group of people who are like, we got to get rid of Kieran. And I was like, ooh, because Matt's so strong at challenges, you would think that he could easily help throw it and make sure that Kieran isn't in charge, right? And so I wondered, so I was really, maybe that's why I was like so into this challenge, is I was really just watching Matt and Kieran, like how is Matt throwing this? And he did sort of lose his balance a little bit, but I couldn't tell if he was throwing it because some people were making comments to Kieran and Matt was just like, don't worry about them, like focus, stay focused. It seemed like he was in it and being supportive to Kieran, so I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he probably threw it. I don't see why he would have helped. Just being on the other side and kind of the aggro guy alliance. I don't know why he wouldn't throw it. Maybe he's just a really good actor because Matt, again, is just like so likable that maybe that's why we're misted by Matt's likability.
Yeah. I was like, the fact that I can't tell if he threw it, but we have to assume that he did, just shows you how good he really is, that he can just be so likable and friendly and make Kieran feel supported. And like, we're like, what? But we know that he didn't want Kieran to win that for sure. A lot of people are dropping left and right. This is really, really hard. And it gets down and Zoe and Sarah are like looking like they're going to win. And sure enough, they get their little 10th thing and they walk backwards and they win.
Zoe is a comp beast. Like I would have never guessed that she is. And the women of this season of BBL show, I haven't watched previous seasons, are just so good at competitions.
Right. They've been outlasting the dudes so far lately. But isn't this the second time that Sarah's had to go in though as a pair?
Yes,
right?
Because
she's never won by herself.
No, she went with Talia and then also had to go in with Zoe. And both times, I think, poor choices for nominees.
Well, yeah, both times she was railroaded. Yeah, I think that she speaks up only a little bit but then you can sort of control her or dominate her. And that's what happens, because immediately Zoe's like, well, we know one of them. And Sarah's like, who? And Zoe's like, Kieran. And Sarah's like, no, I don't think so. So then it's just like from there, Zoe's like, it has to be Kieran, it has to be Kieran, it has to be Kieran. And so, Sarah's like, but it has to be Garth, it has to be Garth. And they kind of compromise on Kieran, Marissa, and Ian. Which is barely a compromise because Sarah's not at all involved in that.
Which, again, strange for Sarah to again nominate Marissa when we saw what happened last time. And I thought she kind of mended that. So I think it's hard for Sarah because she is so young and Zoe is a lot older than her. She's a mom. Zoe can be very manipulative. We've seen that in this game. So let Sarah win one on her own. Damn.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait for Sarah to be able to stand on her own 2 feet. So Sarah's just like, those are our noms.
Yeah.
And, but so this is interesting because Angie is watching all of this. Now, these are not great noms, obviously. And Angie's like, ugh, what do we do with this? Well, we can't get rid of Kieran and Marissa from Angie's standpoint. So Ian is really the only option that would help her side of things. And Big Brother, because apparently they love Angie and she gets extra stuff, says you could bring anyone in for 10 minutes. Who would it be? Who would you have brought in at this point? Because I was shocked at first that she came up with Garth.
I wouldn't have brought Marissa because I already know she's team me and she's also on the block and there's not a lot she can do. And I'm looking for someone who can influence the house. And I'm just looking at the list here. And I think Garth is a good choice. At first I was like, what? He's talking shit about you. But if you take the personal stuff out of the game, Garth obviously will turn and pivot to where his allegiance lies. And he can be very persuasive. And it wouldn't hurt Angie to then have Garth put a target on his back. So either way she wins. Whether he goes through with it or not, he puts a target on his back. If he doesn't go through with it. And that's kind of what ended up happening down the road. But I think it was a good, had she picked anyone else, I mean, Kieran would have just been, he's on the block too, and it would have been too weird. Daniel, never. And I can't think of anyone else that really,
Yeah, I was really shocked at first. I was like, why would Garth listen to you? Like, he's not on Team Angie. Like, this doesn't make sense. But she played it perfectly. The way that she sort of buttered him up, like, that's exactly how you work with Garth. When you're like, I knew exactly who I wanted to bring. They said I could only pick one person. Like, she's just like really making it big and dramatic. And he's like, oh my God. So he feels so special, so flattered.
Stroke that ego.
Exactly. He fell for that so big. And so then by the time she's like, Ian's the way that we, hurt that side of the house and we can't give them this win. And, she's giving her spiel. He's like totally into it. He's like, I gotta get to it. Let me work my magic. And then I love that she, like, after he leaves, she's like, yeah, I'm going to use him while I need him. But like, I'm not really aligned with him. And I was like, okay, good. That's what we like to see, Angie, right there.
Yeah, Angie's very smart, but it is so interesting that BB Australia is really being pretty obvious that they want Angie to stay in the game, making all these special allowances. And I don't know if this has been done previously on other BB Australia seasons, but this happens I feel like in BBUS, but it's a little more covered up, but all of a sudden, things disappear, like there's no more slop and you're like,
yeah.
And there's other ways, but this is very blatant.
Yeah. Yeah. In the US, we have very strict guidelines on game shows. And so like Big Brother in the US has to have everything fair and equal. And so they wouldn't be allowed to get away with something like this.
But don't they held everyone? Sorry to interrupt you, Sarah. Don't they sign something when they go in saying that they agree that there might be a predetermined winner already in BBUS? Because that's what I've heard some of the house guests report, that they sign a waiver that says, there may be a predetermined and you'll be okay, and you have to be okay with that. So you kind of sign away your right to that.
Oh, that would be, I'm going to look that up because that's really, really interesting. If it doesn't fall under a game show, which I thought that it did, you wouldn't be able to say that. So I'm going to look that up because that's an interesting little loophole.
Sorry to give you work.
Of course, yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. So, I love that stuff. Yeah, we've always been suspicious that we're like, are they helping this person? But as long as it seems like it's fair. But yeah, this one is totally biased. BB Australia is like, we like Angie and we want to give her extra powers. And so they did. But so Garth like runs into the house and just is like, got a job to do. He's like running up to Chad and Sophie and who was it? Shane, and was like, we're doing it. We're getting out of it. It's Ian. Why are we even, what are we doing? This is our moment. He's just like running around, like being Garth about it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's
exactly what he knew he would do. Exactly. Because he loves spreading that gossip. He's the type of player that loves to have information. As long as you stroke his ego, he will deliver the information you want him to. So as much as I loved Garth when he first came in, I think that probably is his biggest downfall, is that his game mind isn't more powerful than his ego,
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, I love what he was doing for her. Like, he was doing the work, but like not subtle at all. No, like little conversations of like, what if we did this? Like, he was just yelling it out to everybody. Yeah. VB, thank you. Super chat, you are saying they used to have everyone vote for 2 people and must give legit reasons. The 2 or 3 with the most votes are up for eviction. Then Australia publicly votes to leave. I had heard that Australia used to like always Australia would vote who got evicted. That seems very complicated. I'll have to go check that out because I don't understand how all that works. It's a lot of layers. Okay, so we have Garth doing all of this work. And at this moment, I thought, oh, this is interesting because Shane is sitting with Chad and Sophie. And we haven't gotten to know Shane a lot yet. But I was like, this is good to know that he seems like he's with them. I don't know if we're calling them like the outsiders, like the non-alphas. They seem to call Matt and Dan and them the alphas. So I was like, okay, good to know that Shane is over there. During the eviction, still Angie is watching it all, getting all this information. And they're all just talking up how Kieran is so powerful with his strategy and his manipulation, that this is why he's up there and that this is why he's going to go tonight. Pretty sure he's going to go tonight. It's just his time.
He is not powerful at all with his manipulation. Kieran's face reads for itself. He has no poker face. He's nervous. His little tongue hangs out. Like, you can read him so well. It's all like Zoe and them. They're just annoyed with him. They want him out. Yeah, he's a gamer. He's playing the game. But I'd rather play with someone I know is playing the game than someone I think isn't playing the game and has been playing me all along. So I don't get that logic. It just has to be that you don't like him because
they don't like him.
He can't drive a car and he's like a mama's boy and he's messy. That's it.
Yeah. They don't like living with him. That's all. Because I'd much rather. Yeah, but you could tell he was lying. Like, why? I want to play with someone who's playing horribly because then I can just watch their moves. That's way easier than someone who's actually sneaky. But anyway, here we go. So Dan votes to evict Kieran. We see that. We see Shane vote to evict Ian. Then we get the votes that rock the house because Marissa gets 1 vote. Kieran gets 4. Ian gets 7. And Zoe and Casey are so rocked. They're literally crying right now.
Zoe is just, for as good as she is at comps, she is just clueless a lot of times when it comes to these situations.
Well, she put Ian up there. She was the person who nominated Ian thinking it was such a easy thing. Everyone's going to vote Kieran out. We have the numbers. Kieran's going to go. Not fully understanding that this is when you can attack someone on your side. She didn't see it at all. And
no, it's too much. It's too early in the game to be that confident or that cocky. And I feel like Zoe comes in really cocky with this move. And I do feel for Ian because he does, he does fall victim. And I really enjoyed watching Ian. I wanted to see his full journey. But the good thing about Ian going is it takes numbers away from if you don't want that alpha side, which I'm fan of the other side, not the alpha side, just to be full disclosure. I'm sure you guys are shocked. And also, I think if at the end the public is ultimately voting for a winner, I think Ian's got a good shot because of his likability, his backstory. He's not just like a floater. He is someone who's taken a stand in the game as well. So it's not like they got rid of someone who's not a threat at all.
Right. Yeah. I think the whole world was probably very sad to see Ian go. He's adorable. What an interesting human. I'm so happy that he had this experience and he got to spend time with people. And I love that everyone was supportive of him and he had friends. And I hope that it was a wonderful experience for him and journey. And he really was just collateral damage. Like the fact that you put him up, that is a great move for that other side of the house. And honestly, Angie did that. Like, hello, Angie orchestrated that whole thing. Garth made it happen. And game-wise, it was just a really good move. But yeah, it's so sad to see Ian go.
All Zoe's fault. And that's why she's so upset. Because it is. It's all her fault. It's your fault, Zoe. Zoe, if you're watching, it's your fault. Ian lost his opportunity. It's your fault. You
got to be really careful putting up someone from your side.
A pawn. Why? Too early for pawns, I feel like, at this point. Just get people out you want to get out.
Yeah, there's plenty of people in the house to put up. Like, why would you put someone in your core group? Like, it's just too risky.
Again, she's not good. She's not that great of a player. She's really good at comps, but she's just not that good of a player.
And she has spoken about, like, we don't want, people playing with strategy. She's got that mentality that, I hear Australians and Brits have where they're like, we don't have strategy. And you're like, but that's what we do. That's how this game works. So yeah, she missed out on strategy for sure. For real. Okay, episode 8. Now we get a little more questionable activity in this, but we'll get there in a minute. Okay. Angie gets to return at the top of episode 8. They wake her up in the bunker and they're like, girl, you about to go in the house. And also Dan is on to Garth. He's pretty sure that Garth is the one who got Ian out. He was supposed to vote with them, but he didn't. So that's clear.
Wow, Dan, way to use that brain.
He does. He does have a brain. He figured it out.
It's so obvious. Like, obviously, it's Garth. He's went back and forth. Like, yeah, we know it's Garth.
Garth does think he needs to smooth things over. He is trying to I don't know how he thinks that that's working out, but he thinks he's absolutely golden and absolutely fine. Winnie's not. Okay, so then BB gathers everyone and legit shows them the bunker. And then Angie walks down the hallway and they're like, what? Andrew, what? Big brother, you screwed us? What?
You got to think they're all kind of like, oh, great. I mean, any number coming back. The only person truly, truly happy was probably Marissa because that's her go-to.
Yeah.
But once someone's out of the house, it's like you got to move on. You got to play. Anytime people now in the US have caught on to battlebacks, but people are like, oh, yay, welcome back. And then normally they're the first person then put up and voted out.
Yeah. This is a different show. This one, it works differently. Patty Kinguru, thank you so much for the super chat and thank you for saying hi.
Hi, Patty.
And catching up with us. So obviously people like Dan can't even pretend that they're okay with Angie walking back in, but Marissa and Hannah are like, oh, they're excited to have Angie back. And she sort of plays it off of I only watched 30 minutes a day. I don't know. Oh, Ian went? Oh my goodness. She's acting as she comes in. But Garth and Angie are making it obvious that they have rekindled or come up with some sort of relationship. So people are eyeing them spending time together. They get an Italian feast with super awkward energy until loved one letters show up.
Yeah.
And they get to read their little letters.
Shane was the first one to find out, and he was bawling his eyes out, and he came out, and everyone's like, what? And little Sarah's like, shut up, we're listening. And it was sweet. I do like a loved one letter, depending on the cast. If I am enjoying the cast, I like a loved one letter, and I do enjoy this cast so far. So I did like learning more, because there's still, like you said, people, even like Shane, that we learned more about in these episodes than we have the whole season so far.
Yeah. I like a loved one letters. Well, you know that it's hard for me to get like emotionally invested. I was like, is it too early? Because I wasn't emotionally invested yet. Like, it was nice to see them all be human together. But like I wasn't ready for loved one letters, I guess.
Well, it's only week 3? I think 3 weeks they've been in. So yeah. I mean, it didn't make me cry. Like the Survivor, visits make me cry. But these loved one letters, like in BBUS, a letter from home, an HOH letter, rarely will make me cry. No.
Yeah. Okay, good. So that wasn't just me. But it was nice to get a little bit more from Shane, because like these episodes, I was really getting to know Shane. Like, really, I like him, and I was happy that he was the one that went into the DR, and like he talks about his family, and so I was just happy to get to know Shane a little bit. Okay, Garth tells Matt that he has influence and can feed intel to Matt. But that he just needs to be with the numbers.
Garth needs to pick a side. He's burying himself, going back and forth. He's just completely burying himself because people are seeing it. It's so blatant, and nobody wants to play with someone like that, because you have to at least have a little bit of integrity, or appear to have.
Yeah.
And I get that Garth wants to come in and play, and more power to him. But this is just too much.
Yeah, it seems like this house, especially, you need to pick a side. You need to be your group. You really can't play all sides, or at least you just got to be better at it. He's just not being good at it. Like, he's basically saying that I need to be with the other side right now, but I'm going to tell you stuff when you're telling me you're not trustworthy.
Exactly, because how do I know what you're saying isn't going back to that other side? Like, you're basically following the power. Right. Which, fine, if that's your gameplay, but you better be really covert about it. You better be so undercover and good at it. And he's just not. It's really cringy to watch him run back and watch them look at him, and they just know, like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Miranda. Miranda's in the chat. And thank you. This is the first time I've had a ponytail in years. It's my quarantine ponytail because I can't get my hair cut.
It's the first thing I commented on when I joined backstage before we went live. I was like, Sarah, you have a ponytail. I love it.
I'm so excited. I can now have a ponytail. Yay. So Matt, because now he's like super shady with Garth. He's like, I don't know about this. So he brings Shane into the group. So it's Matt, Dan, Xavier, and Shane talking about how sketchy Garth is, how Garth's got to go. And they come up with a plan that I have a hard time following and not sure how it works. But they think that 2 of their group need to go up as a pawn next to Garth.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but they're excited because it would throw Garth off. Like, Garth would be blindsided because he'd be like, ooh, they're going after the boys club. But I'm like, you're giving people the option to vote you guys out?
That would make like 2% sense if you were doing some kind of jury management at this point. But since there's no jury, just put up people and vote his ass out. To sacrifice yourself and to put yourself up as a pawn, I don't really know why they would do that, because what do you care if Garth knows? If you're worried about him scrambling, you know, we know that he implodes, and both sides can just compare notes and be like, he's playing both of us. We got to get rid of him. He's not good for either side.
Right. Yeah. I really was like making my head hurt trying to figure. I was like, what is the strategy here? What am I missing? I was like, is this genius? And I can't figure it out. No, I was all over the place. And I was like, no, I feel like this is super, super dangerous. But let's move forward. So Dan passes the info on to Zoe because she probably is going to win a competition. And so she needs to be in on the plan. to do this. And of course, she's also got a little PTSD from putting Ian up and him going. So this is not her favorite plan in the world. But we go to a nomination challenge. They're stacking blocks. We got more stacking for you. And then pulling them on a ribbon across a beam.
I liked this one.
Did you?
I did. I thought because anyone had a chance. I love the ones where anyone has a chance. I love the ones where you don't have to have a 6-pack and run around the yard 12 times a day to be able to win something. Like I love just kind of a little bit of strategy and brain thought, but a lot of luck, and anyone could do it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like no one could do it. They were dropping left and right and looked near impossible. Like this, who is anyone going to ever get this? But yeah, Zoe figured it out somehow, and it is a long way to go with that little ribbon, and you're just like focused intensely, but she eventually gets it. Matt was super, super close, but he dropped right at the end. So Zoe wins, and she knows what she has to do, but she's not super happy about it. She goes to the DR. She's super scared, but she does go through with it. She puts up Garth, Dan, and Shane. I was like, wow. I thought she might like chicken out and go Shane and Chad, because like those two are not close to her as much.
But Dan wanted it so bad. He is so cocky that he's like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm 7 feet tall and I snore. I'm good. And you're like, calm down, Dan. Like he just gets a little too much. A little too much.
Yeah. And he was so excited about this plan. He was so excited to be the bait. So those three are announced. Angela, we're seeing, is super excited to get Dan out. This is amazing. She's so excited. She's convincing Sarah and Hannah, because again, Sarah's so easy to convince. Sarah's just like, we're going to vote out Garth. And Angie's like, let me tell you why we're voting out Dan. And Sarah's like, we're voting out Dan. Yes. So the edit here is interesting, because they don't really show us how this goes down, because we see Angie like pitching Dan to everybody. We see Dan just straight chilling. He's like, I'm just bait. I just sit here. And I'm like, well, this edit is telling me Dan's going.
Yeah. And
which I wouldn't be. Yeah. I mean, at that point, I'm like, I'm not going to be surprised if they get Dan out. But Xavier, I want to call him Xavier, but I think the Aussies call him Xavier.
Oh, not Xavier?
Yeah, they're calling him Xavier. Exhibit. He does a great job of just straight blowing up Garth's game during that eviction room time.
He did, yeah.
And maybe that, obviously that had already happened. I have to imagine Xavier, if he was willing to say that in the room, that conversation had already happened. And then when we get the numbers, the votes, like that conversation happened. And I was kind of bummed that we didn't get it in the edit.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see Xavier explain that, or that side of the house kind of telling their case for getting rid of Garth. I would have liked to have watched that, but unfortunately we didn't get it. But we did get a cool moment where, Angie and Marissa are sitting next to each other, like, here comes some bullshit, and then, Garth, like, just his surprised face of like, yeah, Garth, he's not lying.
Right. And Angie, like, if Angie was obviously told this and convinced because she voted Garth out. But like, we didn't get the drama from Garth either, because when Xavier says this stuff and you see Garth being like, what? Garth had comebacks. He was talking up a storm. And we didn't get to see that either. I was just a little bummed about this edit. And
now, was there a part that I missed where Angela got some safety when she came back in? Like she couldn't be nominated, or no, because that shocked me that she wasn't even thought of as someone to put up. Now, I love Angie. I don't want her to go home again. We see how much she does bring to the show, so I get why production is doing that. But as a player, I would have been, that is usually how it works. Like, you've been out. We don't know what you've seen. We don't know as much as you say, even seeing a half hour. What if you saw something? I see you now cozying up with Garth. It would be Angie, Garth, like make sure one of them go home. So
yes, because you are smart, Joleen, and
am.
Dan came up with a completely different plan. Like any other season, yes, exactly what you just said. But Dan was so convinced that Garth needed to be put up next to bait.
And why
it just didn't make any sense.
Zoe, you're the one winning comps. You're the one becoming HOH. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. It's my brain going off here, but it's so interesting that when it comes to other women, she's so able to just kind of, bulldoze and do what she wants when she's next to Sarah. But when she's with her dude alliance, or guys, they're able to manipulate her and put her in a position that isn't necessarily going to be the best for her. So
yeah,
that's very interesting.
She's just a super loyal person. I think like she found her clique, her group, and like that's it. You can't penetrate that. Like you can't get in that.
To Dan, I mean, Zoe, you're a grown woman with kids and a life, and you've seen a million Dans in your life. They're full of bad ideas. I don't get that. Zoe seems too smart to me. So maybe it's like some internalized stuff or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this worked is shocking. The vote is one Dan, which is from Garth. And Garth gets 12 votes. Every single person voted for Garth. So I don't give Dan this credit, even though he came up with this crazy scheme.
Yeah.
I feel like Xavier probably gets the credit, or somebody gets the credit for convincing them that Garth is super sketchy. Probably Matt and Xavier together. Were able to flip the whole house, which is super impressive. But yeah, I don't give this credit to Dan because I don't know. He just got lucky.
No, it's Xavier. You're totally right. Yeah. It's just whatever he hears Xavier say, he's like, Dan, think that too. Dan idea. And you're like, Dan, that's not your idea. Dan kicked ball.
Although I do have to say, Dan entertains me in the DR. Like, I like how he just gets like, oh my God, it's on now. Like, he gets blindsided and he's like, what? I'm coming. I really do actually enjoy Dan in the DR for sure. He entertains me.
Yes.
He doesn't seem problematic,
No, he doesn't seem problematic. It's just, I thought it was just interesting that, he's just one of those like over alphas. It's always about him.
Yeah. Garth yells, just so everyone knows, I was in the bunker, as he runs out when he's evicted. But that doesn't seem to last any longer than like, what? What does he mean? And then it never seems to come back up.
No, and Angela's just like, bunk, what? This guy's crazy, right?
Like, why would he be in the bunker?
But the way Angela was acting, and maybe it's just because we're watching it from home, but it was so obvious. Yeah. That but again, I'm obvious I can't judge that because I've been able to see everything,
Yeah, exactly.
So
okay, episode 9, day 19. This is when we see Shane a little bit more. I'm just loving the Shane journey. He gets in bed, he's up at like whatever 3 a.m. or something with his head erasing. It sounded like I said erasing, and I did not. Shane gets in bed with Chad to talk about the whole Matt, Dan, Xavier thing.
Hot.
Because Shane just saw it firsthand. It is hot. Thank you. But he saw it firsthand. Like these guys can make things happen. They can flip a house. They've got some power, and he's nervous about it. And then Matt catches them in bed together.
Ooh.
Which is really hot.
Which was super hot. And then he joined them, which was hotter.
Oh, what I wish he had. This would have been the best. Have you ever seen guys get so excited about bathroom time together?
No.
My goodness. What was that?
I loved this edit. It was so fun. It was funny.
It was.
Everything. But I also, another part of me, and the part of me that people will probably be like, ugh, Joleen, don't take it so seriously, didn't like it because it's like, as women, we don't want to be in there for 5 hours, but society tells us that that's what we got to do. Every makeup tutorial, everything is marketed toward us. So from a young age, we're just inundated with this stuff and we think it's a part of our life, and we're doing it essentially, they tell us, for you guys. So for you guys to hate on us, we're doing something that we didn't have a choice because they marketed to little girls. My 6-year-old niece, she wanted LOL makeup, so I bought it for her. I'm part of the problem, but you know what I'm saying? I've been conditioned to be in the bathroom. Like Sophie was doing a makeup tutorial. I mean, this is what they do to us women. I have a wig on. I tried to contour my face. Like, I get it. But don't shame us. You created these monsters. So that's all. You're lucky all you do is poop in there. I wish I just had to poop in the bathroom. Okay? I wish.
Okay, yes, I hear you, but I have never spent 5 hours in the bathroom. Are you kidding me? I've never spent more than 30 minutes getting ready.
But just think
I don't have the patience.
You're on TV. So I totally get what you're saying, Sarah. But you're on TV, so you're going in, you're freshening up, you're bored, you might take a face off, put a new face on. These Gen Z kids, they can make themselves look like a totally different person. It's like an art.
They can.
So I think maybe it was like cumulative. They were in there. I don't think for 5 hours straight. I think Sophie was probably in there for like 2 hours straight. But I see what you're saying.
Oh my God. Yes. Ryan in the chat saying Holly on BB21 did her makeup the whole day. And she did. And I just, it blows my mind every Big Brother season when we see this stuff, because I legitimately have never spent that much time in the bathroom getting ready. And I get it. You want to look good, but like, does it really take that much time? I just can't.
Well, here's the thing. I get what you're saying too, because with just a quick tangent to the BBUS, I think they need to make a rule on BBUS where once you call to the DR, you got to go. Because back in the day you had to go, and now they got to beat their face for 2 hours, and it takes too long. It's boring on the feeds. Get in there and get out. We don't have time for you to contour. We understand it's 4 a.m. You don't need to contour. So I agree with you on that point. But shaming the women when they have nothing else to do. And that's
I do think like half of it's like, what else are we doing today? I'm just going to spend a couple hours flat ironing my hair or curling it or whatever it is. Mama Bev's in the chat, and she would like a lavender wig now because you look so gorgeous.
We will get you one, Mama Bev. We will get it for you.
Gorgeous. But yeah, seeing them get so excited about 2 hours in the bathroom of just by themselves was ridiculous and hilarious. And it was I did enjoy that.
Also, guys, open yourself up to this stuff about taking care of yourself, like face masks, things like that. They can be very relaxing. I try to get my husband to go get like pedicures. They're not just for women. They're for everybody. If it feels good, it's for everybody, you know? Okay, I'll stop.
Agreed. Agreed. Absolutely. We get a good food comp where they have to collect rainwater. This one's going to last 24 hours, but they can only use their body. So they at first are just like this, but hello, use your shirt, like use your hair. So like they get the hang of it where they're wringing all of this stuff in. And then what really got funny was the secret mission that they give to Dan for Chad's steps. He has to get 12 kilometers. What's 12 kilometers?
I have no idea. I'm sure someone in the chat knows, but like also what's a kilometer? Also.
Yeah.
What?
Also, what is that? We say 10,000 steps in America. We say you got to get 10,000 steps.
To miles. I just it's 7.4 miles.
But how many steps is that? That's how we talk. I don't know how many.
Okay, I'm converting it right now. 2 steps.
Oh, look at you.
That, okay. What was it that he had to get to? 14? That's
12 kilometers.
12. That's over 15,000 steps.
Dang, that is a lot.
Because 10's hard enough to get to a day, which is what you're supposed to.
Supposed to, but it's hard. Wow. Okay. That is a lot. Well, they go hard about it. Everyone in the house knows except for Chad. He can't find out. And they are just running him. They're making him jump rope and skip. And like, they're just going crazy. Dan's even like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to keep running, but they're like running through the house. That part was really, really funny. And Chad is kind of adorable.
He's so adorable with his relationship with his mom, with the dog. Yes, and the respect he shows to Sophie, I think, is great, because I think we're so used to seeing like the stereotypical hot guy model be a dildo. And so to see someone be a nice person. And I love how Big Brother has such a good sense of humor for Australia, where in the DR, they're like, you're helping him. He's a model. And you know, he's so attractive. I find that
like, we need him to be this hot all the time. And you're like, yes. That's so fun. It's adorable how they're like, Chad's just the hottest. He's the hottest. And they like make fun of his modeling. And it's so great. And he's just smiling through all of the running. I mean, he just seems like the most positive person.
I feel like they're more self-deprecating in Australia, where in the US, it's really hard for us to be self-deprecating, even our humor, where when I've traveled other places to perform, like even in like across Europe, like in England and stuff, like they were in the UK, they love self-deprecation. Like they were all
I love that sense of humor.
And in the US, people are just like, what did you say about me? And you're like, so when you see these Big Brother people enter the house, you're like, calm down. Let's all have a sense of humor about ourselves. It's way more fun.
Yes. Way more fun. Agreed. So they, from soaking their hair and their shirts and all of that jazz, they make $175 in 24 hours. And Chad did over and above. He did 14.4 kilometers. But Sophie's dum-dum, she ruined it. Sophie, what happened?
She totally messed it up. And I knew, well, obviously the edit kind of showed us, so it's not like I knew.
Yeah.
When she took him in the green room and and then they went in the room and then she's like, I just want you to get your steps, which again, didn't give away what the challenge was.
It didn't give it away.
But you did say you weren't supposed to mention any of that. And it was unnecessary. So if all you had to do is be like, chase me, like do tag or, do little flirty games or something. Wrestle.
Yeah, she didn't handle that well at all. Like I thought it was cute when they were like, just say you haven't talked to him all day. Like you could just be like, hey, can we take a walk together and like hold hands and just be like, how was your day? I'm just checking in. Like I just thought she handled it so poorly where she's giggling and doesn't know what to say. And she just got into an awkward situation that she was trying to backpedal out of. And she ruined the whole thing. And of course she's upset because the house is upset with her. And so she's like crying and throwing things, which I totally relate to.
Me too.
I was like, girl. Yeah. But I was surprised she didn't walk out and go, guys, I'm so sorry. I messed up. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
She didn't feel like she had to once Chad went in the room. Remember when she pretended to like slam the door, but the door didn't even barely move? That was hilarious. I love that when people get really mad and react and then things, it's funny because it doesn't work out the way they think it's going to. But when he sat next to her and was just like, big deal. I think she took that as the whole house feels that way and didn't feel the need to apologize. So I don't really look at that as like a flaw necessarily on her behalf. Because I feel like she's the type of person who, just from what I've seen on this show, would apologize. But I think once talking to Chad, she was like, okay, I'm gonna drop it. I'm being too dramatic.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so Angie and Marissa are the secret queens, except that everybody knows. So it's not a very good secret, but they're loving that they're running the house and that they are the queens of the house, but that it's a secret. And I was like, ooh, I think everybody knows.
Not a secret.
Not a secret. Okay, this nomination challenge is a platform of sorts that you balance a ball on, but your foot is in like a sling type thing that's controlling it. And dang, that made my like outer thigh hurt just watching it. That's difficult.
And you knew Marissa, like, I'm like, she's going to be good at this because she's the jazzercise. Is it jazzercise or just aerobics?
Something like that.
Queen who brought it to Australia. I love how they did, when they have cast, some older people, obviously, comparative to what we normally see on reality TV. And that it's people who are, like Marissa, who can kill it in physical comps, because 61 years old and none of these kids came close. Who was the closest? Like Sophie? Hannah? One of them?
Hannah.
You know what? I was telling Chell when I watched this show, all the hot people, a lot of them, I can't tell them apart half the time. Hannah, Sophie, they look the same. A lot of times Xavier and even Chad, I'm like, who's that? And then Shane comes in and I'm like, huh? I feel like they cast a lot of people I can't tell apart.
Really? I heard that someone else was like, I can't tell Hannah and Sophie apart, but I think Hannah is like strikingly gorgeous. Like she's got these amazing cheekbones and like lips. And so I can 100% tell Hannah apart. She's just gorgeous. Like Sophie is beautiful, but like everybody else beautiful. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Sophie is very beautiful.
I just see hot people and then it all just melts together. And I'm like, I don't, they're just hot. It's just the same person.
What? So, just a bunch of hot people. Well, until they get a package, doesn't matter. Matt's pissy from the beginning because he worked his legs yesterday. And so now he's got to like hold a foot up and he's so mad about it. Kieran is out first. Poor Kieran. They added a second ball after 30 minutes, and it's down to Zoe, Hannah, and Marissa for a little bit. But then at 45 minutes is when they added the third ball. Zoe had already dropped, and this is when Hannah drops. So Marissa gets it.
Way to go, Marissa. And so that's Zoe again, so close to another win. I mean, this woman, and she's in her 30s, I think, right? Is she in her late 30s?
She's 30, like 8 or 9, yeah.
These women are killing it, and I love it. I love this. It almost looked like, well, now, it was when Hannah added that last ball. That's when it's completely dropped. Because I looked away for a second. I had to play it back. So I'm like, did she just throw it to Marissa? And I'm like, oh, no, she just couldn't add the last ball.
Yeah, I think she struggled. I think, but we knew it would be fun to have either Hannah or Marissa win because they're on the same side. Yep. Once Zoe's out, which side is winning. But it's super excited that Marissa gets her first win, even though she's been close before. This is her first win. And she goes in and nominates Xavier, Matt, and Zoe.
Nice.
It's a pretty solid group of nominees for her side of the house.
I liked it. I thought, finally, we're making a move. You're drawing a line in the sand. That's fine. You're going after a certain side. There's no weird pawn conspiracy game strategy. It's just these are the people that have a good chance and they're all strong players and let's get them out.
Yeah. And don't give them the option to maybe take out someone who is on your side or in the middle. You have to force that team, that group of people to choose within themselves. That to me is smart.
Now, did you notice that when they read Zoe's name, she was like, like she gasped.
Yes.
She audibly, I'm like, what? You've put up Marissa. You've put up Angie. You're clearly the mother of the Alpha Alliance. Why are you surprised?
You didn't buy tea.
You didn't. Yes, you didn't buy tea.
That's like, all it takes.
Your social game sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. Zoe, I couldn't believe, I was like, did she just do that out loud? Like she's like, she really didn't see that coming at all. But what was interesting was that once Zoe is out of the room, the alphas, they're calling themselves the alphas, or the other side, they're calling them alphas. I don't love it, but I'm doing it. But the alphas say that Zoe was the 5th of their 4th. And that we have to sacrifice her to keep the dudes together. And I was like, well, that is a very interesting information.
And that is why I was like, Zoe, what is wrong with you? You are listening to these dudes and you're going to do all the work and they're going to cut you in the end. That's why I never understand in these games why women, especially knowing what we know about what regularly goes on in these reality games, and shows, why you would be like, well, I'm the cool girl in the group. It's like, if there's no other girls included, you're probably the lowest on. I know that Casey's kind of a little bit right in their thing.
Casey's in that group. Yeah. It's only Casey and Zoe that are a part of that group. It seems like female-wise.
As much as she's done for that damn alliance, for them to not want to save her is some straight BS. And she's going to be another Big Brother player to go home. We've seen it time and time again and go, why did I align with the guys? Christine, BB16 US, never do that. Follow. It's like, just look around.
Well, it's a toughie. It's hard to say never, but it's not.
I say never. I say never. If you do not see an equal amount of women to men there, and I'm not saying this game is completely men versus women, but we see this so much. It's become a trend. It's become a pattern in these reality shows. If I don't see at least, if there's 6 people and I don't see 3 pairs of boobs, I'm out. New alliance. Like, because I know they're going to end up pairing off and they'll cut me before they'll cut anyone else, unless I'm in a showmance with one of them. And even then, maybe so too. It's just my weird.
That's interesting. What about Victoria, though, from 16? Victoria sailed right on through with her men.
Sarah. Victoria wasn't even there. Sarah, who? But she.
Well, no, she wasn't. But look, she made it pretty darn far.
So what'd she get? She got to look like an idiot. Do you know what I mean? What, she get to brush her hair a couple days longer in a house for free? What? She was furniture. Like, she literally was ether. I was like, who is this chick? She thought she was on like Next Model or The Bachelor trying to date Mary Derrick. I mean, no.
Yeah. These are all valid points. These are very good.
They used her. They used her because she's like, she doesn't know she's here and we're gonna go along with it. Like that. No,
that's true.
If anyone can name a time, it happened even BB7, Janelle, Erica, with Chilltown and stuff, taking them out, choosing dudes over the women, and then it's too late, and then you're screwed, and then weird Mike Boogie.
Yep. Yep. You're giving too many good examples of you might be right.
What?
Never. You might be right. Okay. So Shane, though, again, I'm loving Shane. And now he's like, I got to get to work. Everyone's talking about Zoe being the easy vote. But I know sitting next to Matt, I don't win. And he's naming some really good reasons why Matt's going to win. And he's right. Matt is this bloke, this Aussie. He's so Aussie. They're all going to vote for him. He's such a good guy. He's from whatever town it is that is just like so Australian, apparently. They're like, he's the mate. And you can't beat him at the end. So I'm so impressed with Shane, like making the rounds, convincing Chad and the group. And unfortunately, it comes down to Kieran, I guess. I would like to know how these votes actually went down, because Kieran is like so scared to vote out Matt. Like, if you're gonna swing at Matt, you gotta like do it. You can't fail. But I'm super impressed with Shane, I guess is what I'm saying, that he's at least trying.
Yeah, I think if I was on that other side, I would have definitely wanted Zoe out before Matt will win at the end. Like, if Zoe got far, I can't see Australians. I don't know. Again, we don't know how Australia really feels about any of these players because I don't watch any kind of after show or anything. But I think I might look for something, because Chell sent me a link, and apparently there is a guy that hosts like a show, a recap of like an official show for Channel 7.
Doesn't the host Sonia do one?
No, it looked like it was a dude.
She did.
Looks like it was a dude. And maybe I think this is an official one. Let me know if I'm wrong. You guys will know more than I do. But Chell sent it to me. But I would have got rid of Zoe. I would have, because she just wins too much. And then if I'm on that other side of the house, she's putting us up. So Matt, he's a problem. But right now they got a soldier working for them that will take people out on their behalf. And so I got to get rid of her. And she doesn't get tea. Like you said, Sarah. No tea.
She didn't buy black tea. No, I agree. I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with any of these three. Like, I totally love Shane being like, I got to get him out when I can. But I also totally understand being like, Zoe is the soldier. She is the one doing Dan's dirty work right now. So either way, I think works for this other side of the house. But yeah, so it's interesting. Sonia is questioning Kieran a lot because he's just like, and like revealing too much information, which is hilarious. And Matt sitting in the hot seat is just so likable and just like, so like, hey, yeah, what a great time. I mean, I get it. If I go, I go. And you're just like, this is why he's going to win. He's so amazing. But I also enjoy him, so that's totally fine that he's still in the house. Shane looks like he's going to throw up because he's just not sure how this vote's going to go down. We see Shane and Chad vote to evict Matt. We see Matt and Dan vote to evict Zoe. And then Big Brother Episodes here has helped us out with the votes. Thank you so much.
Ooh, thank you.
Zoe, Shane, Sophie, Chad, and Hannah voted for Matt. Sarah voted for Xavier. And Angela, Casey, Dan, Kieran, Matt, and Xavier voted for Zoe. So, yeah, I figured they couldn't get Angela and Kieran, that those were the hard ones.
Did no one talk to Sarah? What happened there?
Yeah. And then Sarah was just like, I can't keep up with you guys. I'm going to go my own way. Thank you so much. But Angela was like, I don't care what y'all are saying. She didn't buy me tea. So I know who I'm voting for. Yeah. Don't care about the end of this game.
The best revenge.
Yeah, seriously. Mm-hmm. So yeah, one vote for Xavier from poor little Sarah. Matt gets 5 and Zoe gets 6. It is super, super close. And then I hated that as Zoe left, she said, how did Kieran stay longer than me? I was just like, girl.
Why are you mean girling Kieran? It really comes off that way. We get it. He's obvious. It reads on him. He's a mama's boy. Yeah, he doesn't know how to cook, but like he's not even a threat to you. You could use him for your game, Zoe. This is like, I feel like Zoe's an ex-prom queen and she's just, going back to her roots, hanging with the cool guys, and now her inner mean girl's coming out. So I'm by Zoe. I do like that you were good at challenges. I love that about you.
Yeah.
But there's just something about her that I'm like,
Yeah, I love that she was competitive and she was athletic and she was like, let's go. I mean, she's close to our age and she like picked it, and that's awesome. But I don't love this whole nice girl thing that she was trying to play, where she was like, I played a nice game. I don't know the word she used, but it was something like that. And I'm like, but you honestly didn't. Like, you're pretending to just be this like super sweet, loyal mom, but like you didn't buy the tea on purpose. That was strategy, lady. So don't throw this whole I don't do strategy thing out. Like,
I hate when
people are self-aware.
Yes, I hate when people in this game can't be self-aware, even when they're out. Like, people will then, you know what the difference would be for her is if she would just be self-aware about it. People would look back and be like, what a great game move. She didn't get Angela T, knowing that would, because I even said it in our last breakdown. Like, it was mean, but also if it's just a strategic and you admit to it being strategic, it's actually a pretty good game move, because you need that stuff to perform well. But the fact that she won't, when you try to be something you're not, that inauthenticity comes out, that being so disingenuous, that I can't be on board with Zoe anymore. But I do have a quick question, Sarah. I know that Big Brother Episodes posted something earlier in the chat that went by and said something that some of these house guests are getting death threats. What's that about? Is that, what have they done that people are upset about?
What's happening?
I saw that pop up earlier and I thought, death threats. I find this season to be not very problematic, but again, I don't follow the behind the scenes like I do for a BBUS. There's no feeds.
Right. That's true. Like, I'm sure I'm missing a ton of stuff because we're in America. We're not in Australia. But yeah, these people seem super, like, the most problematic we've had is like Zoe being somewhat of a mean girl, and like Ian being so full of himself. He speaks in the third person. Oh, Talia was 100% a mean girl. But like,
it looks like,
it
started with Talia. That's what Big Brother Episodes is saying. So I could see people not liking Talia, but a death threat?
Well, we know how the internet is. They do get cray. They get cray for sure. So,
that's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Kieran is weird and probably is hard to live with, but like, you don't have to be mean. I just don't like that unnecessarily being mean. Like, she just had an issue with Kieran, and the fact that she's like annoyed that she left before him. I'm just like, girl, bye, get gone.
And that just makes it. She's basically saying I'm better than him, And so you're putting yourself, and it's just such a yucky thing to do as a 39-year-old mother. That's just such a yucky thing to do. It reminds me a lot of a BB19 with Kevin and Alex and them. How Kevin, I'm sure Kevin got annoying with the stories and stuff, but I mean, there's a lot of charming things about Kevin. But the fact that Alex went out of her way to bully this man, it just made Alex such a despicable person. I just like you, Sarah, I hate seeing that on Big Brother. Nothing pisses me off more than that group bully mentality. And I know this is a game where that can, happen quite often, but I hate it every time.
But it doesn't have to.
No.
I mean, I love someone who can manipulate and be strategic without hurting anyone's feelings, without attacking anyone. Like, that's harder to do. Anyone can do what Paul did in 19 and just bully everybody. Like, sure, we can all just yell and get up in other people's faces. That's not, there's no special skill to that, right? So if you can actually manipulate without ticking everyone off and being mean, that's really impressive. So yeah, even though we see it a lot in Big Brother, it's just not necessary. You just don't have to be that kind of person.
That's why I don't understand when people are like, Paul got robbed. It was like, Paul had shit jury management. It was shit jury management. And he got a lot of advantages in the game.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they all, decided to vote against him, I don't think that, I mean, it is a little bitter, but I think that you have to have, like you said, good jury management. He could have been able to manipulate all of them kind of like Derek did, but people respected his game because he wasn't mean and he didn't sick people on other people and bully people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just gross. Who wants to award that? I don't.
Exactly. So apparently it's big news in Australia, and a lot of other house guests have been supporting each other. Well, that's too bad. I hope those death threats.
Yeah, no, we don't need death threats in general, people. Just that's not necessary at all.
No.
Talia will learn.
She's young.
Zoe made a mistake strategically of putting Ian up. Like, it's not the
end of the world.
It's not like she attacked Ian. Like, it's okay. Everyone take a breath.
Yeah, she's a jerk. She'll see that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super worried about Shane now, though. Now, like, Matt's still in the house. And unfortunately, it seems like, a line has been drawn. And Shane's not going to be able to pretend that he's with those guys anymore. So
I know.
I am worried because I adore Shane and Chad. They're adorable. And I really do like Matt and Xavier too. So I'm not clearly on one side of the house like you might be.
I always go my obvious way every time.
I mean, I just like a Big Brother season that goes back and forth is what I want to see. Like, trying to think Zoe can win, and then
the last time we saw a season like that, I mean, BB6 was a lot like that, a back and forth winning. But I can't. Yeah, as long as we're not seeing a Big Brother, and it doesn't seem like we are in Australia because there's two sides where one side is just sweeping through with the cult-like mentality.
Right. Yeah, we don't need that. And Angie and Marissa are so entertaining, and I love what they're doing, but I'm worried about them too. Like, I think Angie's getting a little big in her britches and saying things loudly that she probably should keep to herself.
But wouldn't you? Big Brother made you your own private room, Sarah, to make sure you stayed in this game. I mean,
yes, I would get very big in my britches. That's for sure.
I hope I'm not exactly. I hope they do this to give this opportunity to another person on this season, maybe on the other side, so that it balances a little more out. So that if Marissa or Angie should win, not saying that I think they're going to, because there's too big of a target at this point, but that this isn't used against them, that they got kind of special, privilege.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how that works in Australia, but we'd be outraged if someone seemed to win because of special treatment. Okay, well, I know you have to run. You have a stand-up tonight. Can you tell people? Can they tune in, or is there?
Yeah, I'm doing a stand-up. Obviously, I've only done it on Zoom since the quarantine. So if you go to my Instagram, you can see a post for it, and all the information is there, but it's in like less than a half hour. Channel now, be on it. And it's a comedy show / drag show. So
fun.
Those are my favorite.
All right, everyone go tune into that tonight. Thank you for hanging out with us in the chat. Thank you so much. We love your input and helping us through it all. We're still loving BB Australia. I'm taking next week off though, so we will not have a recap next Thursday, but we will hit you back after the July 4th holiday. So everyone just do a safe celebration that we've made it halfway through this year. 2020.
Oh my gosh. What is this? Am I awake? Is this happening still?
We're okay. All right. We're going to do it, guys. We're going to get through it. So thank you so much, you guys. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Sarah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.